Now, which country tries to control the internet is China. It basically has its own internet. It has its own companies. It has control over them. It can shut them down anytime. That is the future. Now, the West is beginning to slightly wake up to this, but they hate the Chinese model because it fundamentally attacks their notion of the individual is free. So the 8-year child in California must have the right to watch hardcore pornography. I say good luck, but please don't impose your sense of freedoms on other countries. I believe in the more developing parts of the world, technology will have to be constrained, just like we constrain guns. Guns can kill, so most governments say, you can't have this. You can't have this. Collective good overrides individual rights. This is the tension between the West and the rest of the world. This includes the political tension of freedom. But today, technology has now started to screw up the Western political model, starting with the United States, where the elections apparently were distorted and won through intervention in technologies, etc., whether it be Russians, whether it be Facebook, whoever. And now they want to control it. But in Europe, there's been now concern that technology has been used by the enemies of the state. I don't like to use the word terrorists. I think we live in a world of asymmetric war. Those who control drones that bomb people in other parts of the country are terrorists in the eyes of the innocents who were killed and called collateral damage. So who's the good and bad guy? The methods differ. We can all have our choices of how we engage with this, but the use of technology in this way has now got European governments particularly worried about the spread of what is called hate. And I think you will know the EU, and I think very rightly, are essentially taking measures. I think inevitably the EU and others will have to step in and control the tech companies. There is no choice. And I wrote a piece about 4 years ago on this issue, and nobody wanted to publish it. And then The Guardian published it. And I suggested that the internet is probably the most dangerous invention of human beings. And I met a Tibetan monk who said that the internet is the devil incarnate. Come back. So without being sounding extreme, much of what I said in that article has come true about what the internet will do. And I think we're the tip of the iceberg in terms of what the vision of the self-serving tech companies are and the tension with the broader society. Broader society are the lemmings who do not know yet. Someone has to protect the lemmings from the people with power, and in this sense, the tech companies. That institution is the state. Now we'll see where that fight takes us. I think the European Union is standing up. Interestingly, slowly, the Americans, Congress and Senate are beginning to ask the hard questions of the internet companies. But I think the American system is so corrupt in its lobbying, it will be interesting to see. So I hope the Europeans will stand up and do something.